Hey everyone, this is Mark. How you doing? Um, my original plan was to actually do a blog that was about more detail about losing weight, especially the sort of more of the biology of it, and also give a status update on my joint inflammation. But I realized that it was necessary for me to sort of talk about some of the fundamental things first about health before giving specific elements of a weight loss strategy or a weight loss protocol. Because to give you the specifics before giving you the fundamentals is sort of a disservice, right? So wanted to give a bit of context. It was interesting. I posted up the photo on Facebook, the before and current photo on Facebook, and I had a lot of responses. Almost all of them were like, how did you do it? What did you do? What are you eating? Are you on a diet? What's going on? They wanted to know what the strategies for implementing those changes are. And that makes sense. I mean, see someone who did something that you want to do, you want to know how they did it. I'm the same way. But learning a methodology to achieve a result without understanding the fundamental philosophies of the core problem is like trying to let's say your car doesn't work, so you change the oil to fix the car. Changing the oil doesn't necessarily fix your car. It might not be related to your oil at all. So you're approaching it without understanding the actual problem. You're just throwing a band-aid. So the reality is that being overweight, and this is true for myself, and it's sort of a brutal truth, so I apologize if this offends you. But the reality is that healthy people aren't fat, and fat people aren't healthy. And at least that was the case for me. I mean, I would lie to myself after eating a couple salads saying I was eating healthy or I was making good choices. But the reality was I clearly wasn't, because I was overweight. I'm still a little bit overweight, but it's improving. And I was really only trying to fool myself, but I wasn't fooling myself. But it wasn't until I started focusing on my health and physical condition and vitality, instead of looking at weight loss as the thing I'm working on, that my inner health and outer appearance started to change. So I think it's important to focus on health over weight loss. Weight loss is an interesting motivation. It's got some pros and cons. Actually, I should talk about that some other time. But I said from the very beginning, I've said in some other videos, that I never did this to lose weight. That was not my primary motivation. I did this to get out of pain that I was having from joint inflammation. I didn't lose weight to lose weight. I lost weight as a result of wanting to be healthier so that I could heal myself. I remember when I first started losing some weight, someone had said to me, and the weight loss is things people notice first. So they saw me and they said, well, what did you do? And I kind of explained my approach. I changed everything about what I was doing. I didn't eat rice. I didn't do all this stuff, no grains, etc., etc. And they said, well, that sort of drastic change isn't sustainable for the long term. It's not enough motivation for you to lose weight. And at first I was like, well, what does that mean? And then I was thinking about it. I said, well, that doesn't apply to me, because I wasn't trying to lose weight. I was trying to be healthy. And health as the motivation is different than losing weight as a motivation. It's like, let's say every day you walk down a road where someone stabs you, and and the way you're trying to solve that being stabbed is by healing the stab wound or adding some armor to that spot, instead of just addressing the fact that you're going down a way where someone's stabbing you. The real way to solve that problem of being stabbed every day isn't to heal the stab wound or put some band-aids on it or to get surgery every day. The solution is to stop going that way down the road so you don't keep getting stabbed. So I had to change my path down into a different road so I would stop getting stabbed. That's a weird analogy, but you get the idea. So if you're only changing what you're doing in order to lose weight, you're sort of missing the point. Weight loss is a result of what I did. It wasn't my motivation. And because I've been wanting to lose weight forever. I mean, as long as I can remember. But the desire to be thinner was never enough to motivate that change. But the desire to improve my health, to cure a chronic condition where I was in pain, or to improve my body's biochemical operations through natural healing. I did that, and suddenly the weight came off in droves. So there isn't a quick fix to weight loss. There's no magic formula you can plug in. And I've had some people say, oh, so I just stop eating sugar, or oh, I just don't eat breakfast, or I just do intermittent fasting, and that's frustrating to hear that, because that's missing the point. There's the forest and the trees, and you're just looking at a couple of trees and ignoring the whole forest. You have to see the whole forest as an entire holistic approach, right? Just doing one thing, like I'm just going to focus on eating keto, or I'm just going to do this intermittent fasting protocol, or I'm going to start doing high intensity interval training, or whatever. That's not healthy. That's trying to solve a big problem with a little thing that isn't related to the actual core issue. So you have to look at the core issue and approach it holistically. So that's a long way of talking about what I wanted to get into, which is these 4 fundamentals of health. And so before I talk about the specifics of how I lost weight, and to be honest, I already talked about it a bit, so you kind of know that already. But there's 4 fundamentals of health that I'm sort of focusing on to really improve my physical condition. And as a result, I'll be losing weight. And I have lost weight. So the 4 fundamentals of health are basically food, movement, sleep, and stress. Those are the 4 key factors, the main factors. They're not the only ones, but these are the main ones that contribute to your health and well-being, and ultimately how much you weigh, if you're accumulating fat or losing fat. So the first one is food. Food, think of this as the input. It's the thing that your body uses to operate, and it helps with the biochemical process of your cells, the cell maintenance, performing cellular work, which is the energy levels you have, and eliminating cellular waste or detoxifying your system. So everything you eat is important. There is nothing you stick in your mouth that does not affect everything you are. And that is the biggest paradigm shift I think most of us need to realize, is that every piece of food that you stick in your mouth, no matter how seemingly insignificant, is significant. A little bit of brownie, that muffin over here, that little sip of juice, it all has an effect. There's no little effect. It all makes a difference. So if you want to change everything, you got to change everything, right? I know that's not pleasant to hear, and it sucks, but that's the reality. And there are 3 aspects to food consumption that I think are good to focus on. It's not the only ones, but these are the 3 good main ones. It's what to eat, and this is about the nutritional quality of your food. When to eat, which is about the biochemical and endocrinological response to food, how your body's hormones respond to the food you eat, which is a component of when you eat. And then how to eat, and this is sort of your methodology for eating, such as the speed at which you eat, how many times you chew, how you combine your foods, the mindfulness of eating, all of these things. So those 3 things together, I'm going to talk a lot more about those in the future, but those 3 things are really important to consider when you're considering food as your input source for energy and vitality. The second health fundamental is movement. And I use the word movement because I don't want to use the word exercise. Exercise has a connotation of work and sweat and extreme effort. And I'm talking much more about movement as a general term. And this is really about sort of the output of energy that you have. And it's the output of energy. So that there's 3 things that I relate to the way you do movement. One is circulation, and this is circulation of the oxygen through your lungs, your blood, which detoxifies your system, and the lymph fluid in your system. Even if you just did Qigong breathing, the deep diaphragmatic breathing, that would help all 3 of those things. Just doing really deep diaphragmatic breathing, holding it for a while, exhaling it, really, Qigong breathing is really helpful. That alone is very beneficial. By doing yoga, tai chi, stretching, swimming, walking, other low impact activities, those are really beneficial to the movement and the circulation of those detoxification systems of your body. The second is strength, and this is about improving your metabolism, the bone density, muscular performance, balance, skeletal support. This is about the musculature of your body and exerting power, but not in like a weightlifting kind of way, although that's a great way to develop strength, but in a way that where you use sort of a whole body resistance. So a squat with or without a bar is a great whole body strength training. Mountain climbers are good, planks are great. There's all sorts of really good strength exercises that aren't damaging to your body, but develop the strength and the core strength and the skeletal support that you need. And the third one is endurance. And this is about improving your body's ability to perform work over a period of time. And it has to do with your muscles, but it's more about your organ health, especially your heart and your lungs. And to improve the endurance of those muscles, there's two types of endurance you can do. There's the slow cardio, or there's the high intensity interval training. And I'll talk more about specifics on those later, but I would do some combination of the two. High intensity interval training is really good for increasing metabolism and increasing endurance significantly. So let's say you like to run and you're always able, you can run about a mile, but then you lose your steam. High intensity interval training can develop that endurance to get past that point. So you're able to do 2 miles, 4 miles, 6 miles. And then slow cardio is really good for the stress response in your body and for other things too. But that's movement. That's the second fundamental. The third fundamental is sleep. And if food is the input and exercise or movement is the output, then sleep is sort of like the processing of those two things together. So you have the input, the things you eat, and you have the things that you do. And the way your body processes or repairs or utilizes the energy, utilizes the input and recovers from the output is your sleep. So I know when I was younger, I used to dismiss sleep a lot, thinking that, oh yeah, it's sleep. I can pull all-nighters, and I didn't suffer that much from it. But man, it affects you more than you realize. And I wish I had not done as many all-nighters back in college or in high school or in life in general as I did back then, because it really does take a toll. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. I can sit and eat 3 pizzas in a row. Well, probably not anymore, but I can eat a lot of pizza, but it doesn't mean I should just because I can, right? So for sleep, there are 3 parts that help your health. There's the consistency of your sleep, and this is making sure you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. And the quality of your sleep, and this is how well you sleep, the amount of disturbances, noise that's going on at night, and the quality of sleep that you get. And this can be helped by things like taking a hot bath at night before you go to bed, reading a book instead of watching videos, not checking your email at night, all these kind of things. Things that make your brain just kind of do this kind of thing, it's not good for sleep. So if you want to improve the sleep quality, turn off this thing before you close these things, right? And then the length of sleep. So finding the optimal length that you need to sleep. I know if I sleep 7 hours a night, that's not enough for me. I can't operate long term on 7 hours a night. Short term maybe, but not long term. 9.5 is too long for me. If I do that, then it does the opposite effect. So I'm in between 8.5, 9 hours. Somewhere right in that range is my perfect amount of sleep each night. So that's what I try to aim for. But it's about finding the one that's right for you. And it changes over your lifetime and environmental factors and everything. Everyone's different. So find the one that works for you. And then the fourth health fundamental is stress. And stress, you can think of this as the environment in which your body operates. Stress dictates your physical environment. It's not about feeling anxious with work, and it's not about feeling nervous when you ask someone on a date or getting up to do a public speech. This is about the level of stress that's contained in your body. The amount of cortisol that you're releasing, which is the stress hormone. And actually cortisol and adrenaline has an effect on your immune system. It has an effect on your body function. Too much cortisol, it almost does the same thing as insulin, where you get this insulin resistance. You can get cortisol resistance, where your body's producing all this cortisol as a fight or flight mechanism, which we don't really need it in social situations, but you get this fight or flight, and you get so much of it constantly that you actually become desensitized to the cortisol. So you're producing all this cortisol, but it's not actually being utilized in an effective way, and it affects your metabolism, it affects your immune system, causes autoimmune issues, all sorts of bad stuff. So stress is definitely a killer, as they say. 2 areas to focus on is to reduce your stress, which can be done through, for me, saying no to social obligations or pressures. That's really big. So saying no to things relieves stress. You would think that saying no is actually stressful. What are they going to say when I say no to something? They ask me to help them with something. But setting those boundaries is extremely important for your health. So it's important to do that. Say no at times. Something I wish I had started doing much younger. Being mindful of things, being focused on the moment, meditation, prayer, movement, exercise, those are all ways to reduce your stress. And the second part of stress is to increase your contentment, which is sort of the opposite of stress, right? And you can do this, go outside in nature, just for like 5-10 minutes in the morning, 5-10 minutes at night. Go outside under a tree, touch a tree. When was the last time you touched a tree? Put your bare feet on some grass. Don't step on a snail or slug, but on nice grass. Being productive, accomplishing things, even small things, can help you become more content and feeling accomplished. And enjoying entertainment, movies, music, hobbies, travel, things that you enjoy doing, do those things. Integrate them into your daily life, and that will increase your contentment as well. So I'm going to go into more depth about all of those 4 things, but again, they are food, movement, sleep, and stress. And those are the 4 areas that I'm really focusing on. I'm not focusing on weight loss. You'll notice there's nothing in there about trying to lose weight. It's about trying to be healthier. And if you work on those 4 fundamentals, at least if I work on those 4 fundamentals, over time, over the long haul, it will result in my physical health and my emotional health and overall well-being. So I'm going to talk more about it later, but health really does come from within. You got to really focus on that. And I'll say something that you might not agree with, but the core issue from keeping you from losing weight, if you're trying to lose weight, is not your relationship with food. I'll say that again. The reason you're not losing weight is not because of your relationship with food. That has nothing to do with it. It's your relationship with yourself, or your relationships with other people, or your relationship with stress. Those are what affect your health much more than being addicted to carbs, or being a chocoholic, or being an alcoholic, or well, that's a different issue. But it's not your relationship with food, it's your relationship with yourself. And that's where you have to start. You have to start from within. Start from within yourself, start with other people in your social circles that you deal with on a daily basis, through work, church, religion, social groups, whatever, school, and then dealing with stress. I would say those are really paramount. And honestly, if you're focusing on your food to lose weight, then you're ignoring the point. Food is a distraction from dealing with your real problems, because your real problems are not food. Food is a fuel source. Food is a tool. But the issue you have with food stems from the issue you have with yourself. So I know that's a little harsh, but that's the reality I've come to discover for myself, that I have found rings true for all the situations in my past where I thought food was the issue, but it's not food. It's me. So that's it for now. If you have any comments, please post them below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to, blah, 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 all that stuff. Go to markcmoran.com for more details and info. I wrote a whole blog post about this. You can check it out. Links below the video on YouTube, or this video is also going to be on the blog post as well. So that's it. It was plenty long. Hope you're all doing good. Have a great day, and take care. See you later.